Hi, I'm Tom Stimson and welcome to AV Matters. In this session, I want to talk about Sales Commissions 101. Many of you have some sort of a sales commission or bonus program in your organization, but a lot of you don't. But it's becoming more and more important as you start to understand how to grow your business. So a lot of the phone calls I'm getting are asking about the basics of doing sales commissions. So let me give you my take on it, because some of the traditional things that we've been doing in our industry aren't very good examples of a good sales commission incentive program. So as we talk about incentives, commissions and bonuses, I want you to think about the kinds of behaviors that you're trying to encourage and the ones you're trying to discourage within your organization. Think about your best salesperson. What are the qualities in that individual that you like? What are the results that they're delivering that you would like other salespeople to do? And then you're going to think about your worst salesperson. What is it that they are doing that you would like to discourage? Now, sometimes we can't make behaviors go away just by telling people to stop doing them, but we can create carrots that will pull them to the right solution and discourage the wrong one. And commissions and bonuses help us do this. Now, not everybody's motivated by the same thing. If you've got 5 salespeople, you've probably got 6 different ways that people like to be motivated. There's 3 things that are most prevalent, though. We have people who are interested in security, we have folks who simply like money, and we like other people who really enjoy the recognition of a job well done. So as you think about commissions and bonuses, think about what it is your team is actually looking for on an individual basis. You don't have to have the same commission and bonus plan for everybody in your company. Though I know most of us would like to, and we think it's simpler to administrate, the fact of the matter is you might get better results if you individualize your incentive program based on the person you're trying to coach. So, the basic elements of a commission plan in sales. First of all, there are 3 pieces to the way that I propose that you do incentives. The first incentive is salary. I encourage having a salary at any level, whether you're going to pay somebody a small salary and a huge commission, or a huge salary and a small commission. You always need to have a salary. There's a certain part of the person's job that you want them to do regardless of whether they have a lot of projects or sales dollars on their books. We want them to keep up with their clients. We want them to do account management. We want them to continue to learn for themselves about new ways of doing things. And our salary is going to do this for us. So some portion of your incentives have to be salary-based. Now, we also want to have some sort of commission base and a bonus base. And I treat commissions and bonuses as 2 different things. So commissions are based often on some sort of financial result. The most typical one is gross profit. Bonuses, as we'll talk about in a minute, I often base on top-line revenue. And we need both of these, and I'll explain why. So if we understand that a commission is something that's based on gross profit, we need to understand that gross profit, some of that money belongs to the organization. A very typical mistake and common mistake that we've been making in our industry for years is paying salespeople a commission on 100% of the gross profit, whatever that number is. Some portion of gross profit has to be a minimum or a floor. So if your organization, for example, regularly does a 30% gross profit, and that's your benchmark number. I don't know if that's good or bad for your organization, but let's just use it as an example. My floor gross profit, therefore, needs to be 30%. Because if I want to incentivize our salespeople to sell more profitable projects, then anything above 30% gross profit is more profitable. If I set 30% as the floor, therefore, I'm not going to pay commission on anything that's below 30%. But I can afford to pay a very handsome commission on anything that's above 30%. So again, using numbers just as an example, I can pay 0 commission at a 30% gross profit, but if they go to 35% gross profit, I might give that salesperson 25% of the gross profit above 30% all the way through 35%. In other words, I can give them a bigger share of the gross profit above the floor. I can have multiple floors. I can have a profit level or a commission level between 30 and 35%, and another commission level for everything that's above 35%. If getting to a 40% gross profit is your ideal and you couldn't be happier, you might want to give them 50% of the amount above 35%. So you can build some models to see what works best in your organization. Now, having said all this, we know that there are a lot of projects that actually come in lower than 30%. So in order to average 30%, we know that there was something less than 30% and something more than 30%. Why would we sell something below our margin? Sometimes it's a good customer and we have to. Sometimes we're selling in the slow season and we want to encourage sales and we're willing to give up a little bit of margin in order to do that. Okay? So if I can sell below the floor, how do I make money as a salesperson? Well, I can move the floor, which makes a very complicated commission plan, and a lot of arguing will probably ensue about whether or not a lower floor is appropriate, or I can augment the incentives with a bonus. So, why do I want to have commission and bonus? And this is why. Sometimes we want the salesperson to close the job below margin where they are not going to make a commission, but I have a bonus plan that's going to make up for that. So the bonus plan pays on the top line. And again, using round numbers, maybe 0.5% in an integration company, 1 or 2% in a rental and staging company, commission on the top line that goes, or bonus on the top line that goes along with the commission on the gross profit line. So I have a combination of 3 things to incentivize my sales team with: their salary, their commission on gross profit, and their bonus for revenue. And between those 3 things, I ought to be able to incentivize them to sell the right kind of business. More profitable business, okay, and the right kind of business. Now, I got to introduce one more concept to this before we bring this to a close. What is gross profit? Every company measures it differently. And in a project-based organization like most rental and staging companies are, you're going to have variable gross profit from job to job. What if you decide to subrent the projectors for this job? And that's going to reduce the gross profit for it. What if you have to hire a video engineer for that job who's a freelancer? Okay, that's going to add expenses to another job and lower that gross profit. Are those things the fault of the salesperson? In other words, does the salesperson deserve to have their commission reduced because you made an operational decision about how to make money on this particular job or series of jobs? And the answer is no. Okay? An incentive program in which the salesperson doesn't have control over the results won't work in the long run. So one way to overcome this is to pay commission on the project as it was sold. In other words, absorb all the expenses across all the jobs, either as a burden number or a flat number, or don't calculate them at all. Make sure that we sold the job at a profit and commissioned for that, and then we can execute for a profit across all the jobs from an operational level. So, lots of things to consider, well worth it. Don't forget, think about the behaviors you want to encourage and the ones you want to discourage, and then structure your commission and bonus plan and incentive plan based on the individual so that you can maximize the results. It's a big topic, but it's worth looking into. I'm Tom Stimson, and thanks for watching.